From the earliest moments of his boxing journey, Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez carried an aura that suggested greatness. He possessed the kind of talent that didn't just win fights, it commanded attention. The first time many saw him unleash his skill in the ring, it was like witnessing a storm build from still air. Lightning-fast angles, punches that landed with precision and venom, and the calm poise of someone who already understood how to break down seasoned fighters. Fans quickly realized this was not an ordinary prospect. This was a fighter built for the upper echelons of the sport. As a young man, Bam's performances blended pure aggression with surgical accuracy, earning him the label of a future pound-for-pound star. By dismantling a series of high-level opponents and becoming the youngest world champion in boxing, Rodriguez didn't just collect belts, he collected believers. Those believers began to whisper that perhaps he could be the one to dethrone the seemingly unstoppable Naoya Inoue. Whether that was destiny or wishful thinking, the evidence for his potential kept stacking up. Rodriguez's early years were a blueprint of controlled destruction. Even as a kid, his trainers recognized they had a demolition machine in the making. His amateur career was brutal and beautiful. Hook after hook smashed through defenses, earning him the top ranking in the United States and the number 2 spot in the world. At just 17, he was already terrorizing seasoned veterans in Mexico, turning confident opponents into hesitant, retreating fighters. In those days, Bam's offense flowed like water, adapting to whatever openings presented themselves. But the underlying current was always lethal intent. One of the earliest professional statements came against Negrete. From the opening exchange, Rodriguez began opening up his offense, mixing stiff jabs with fluid combinations to the head. Within a minute and a half, Negrete's mouth was open, his spirit fading. The flurry that sent him crashing down was not a wild assault but a calculated dismantling. Negrete couldn't rise to beat the count, and the referee waved it off. In less than 2 minutes, Bam had sucked the will to fight out of a veteran, marking his United States debut with the sort of emphatic finish that makes fans sit up and remember a name. From that night, Jesse Rodriguez became a prospect the boxing world could not ignore. As his career progressed, the teenager's ability to walk opponents down became a defining trait. His footwork wasn't just for show, it was a weapon that cut off escape routes, forcing his foes into dangerous positions. Powerful right hands and sharp body shots shredded their defenses. In one such outing, an 18-year-old Rodriguez executed a body attack so effective that it ended with a clean knockdown from a right hook to the midsection. The fight was over without Bam taking any serious damage. Already working under the expert eye of trainer Robert Garcia, Rodriguez displayed a style that blended creativity and caution. He was a southpaw with angles reminiscent of Vasily Lomachenko, but unlike many offensive-minded fighters, he was defensively responsible, reading danger and slipping counters with ease. By the close of 2020, Jesse Rodriguez wasn't just a prospect to watch. He was a storm gathering strength. The momentum carried into his fight against Saul "Baby" Juarez. Juarez was known for his sturdy chin, and nobody expected an early finish. Yet Rodriguez, employing patience at first, worked Juarez around the ring, connecting with precise power shots. Once his killer instinct kicked in, the fight shifted gears. The young fighter's pressure became suffocating, and Juarez couldn't withstand the assault. In the space of a single round, Rodriguez turned what seemed like a certain distance fight into another emphatic stoppage. His streak of knockouts continued to grow, and the whispers about him fighting for a world title intensified. By the time a planned bout with WBA World Junior Flyweight champion Esteban Bermudez fell through, Bam had built enough momentum that any opponent would be a showcase opportunity. Jose Burgos stepped in, perhaps thinking the young champion-in-waiting could be tested. Instead, he found himself dealing with a methodical, untouchable technician. Rodriguez landed cleanly without taking anything in return, gliding in and out like he was fighting inside the Matrix. Burgos hit the deck from a sharp counter, and after briefly regaining his footing, was sent reeling into the ropes from another sustained attack. The referee had no choice but to call a halt, and Bam added yet another highlight to his growing reel. In 2022, Rodriguez made one of the boldest moves of his career by jumping up 2 weight classes to face Carlos Cuadras. Weight disadvantages have undone many fighters, but for Bam, the challenge only seemed to sharpen his focus. From the outset, his speed and footwork negated any size difference, and he dropped Cuadras with a perfectly timed shot. Throughout the bout, he pelted the veteran with short hooks, even in the clinch, forcing Cuadras into the infamous chicken dance after one particularly flush connection. Over 12 hard-fought rounds, Rodriguez showed not just technical superiority but also the grit to engage in a war when needed. The unanimous decision crowned him the WBC Super Flyweight champion, making him the youngest active title holder in the sport. 3 months later, Rodriguez faced an even sterner test in Sor Rungvisai, a man with a record of 50 wins, only 6 defeats, and 43 knockouts. Sor Rungvisai's reputation for power and durability was legendary. He hadn't been knocked out in over 54 fights. For a 22-year-old champion making his first title defense, it was a daunting task. Yet from the opening bell in San Antonio, Rodriguez implemented a game plan built on speed, precision, and movement. He would dart in, land clean shots, and be gone before the Thai slugger could respond. By the 4th round, a right hand nearly sent Sor Rungvisai to the canvas, and Bam's confidence grew. Realizing his opponent's power was not the menace he had anticipated, Rodriguez began standing in the pocket more often, trading shots without fear. In the 7th round, a left hook to the temple finally dropped the veteran. Moments later, a barrage of punches forced the referee to step in, handing Sor Rungvisai his first stoppage loss in more than a decade. It was a definitive statement. A new guard was here in the super flyweight division. Rodriguez's record now stood at 16-0, and his list of victims included legends. The boxing world took notice, ranking him among the sport's elite. His next outing was against Israel Gonzalez, a 4-time title challenger. Gonzalez started brightly, outworking Rodriguez early and digging to the body. But by the middle rounds, Bam's sharper, heavier shots began to shift the momentum. Even after losing a point for a low blow, Rodriguez maintained control, his combinations landing with greater authority. Gonzalez managed to hear the final bell, but there was no question who had won. The victory marked another successful defense and another lesson in adaptability for the young champion. Rodriguez then vacated his WBC Super Flyweight title to drop down a division and challenge for the vacant WBO Flyweight crown against Christian Gonzalez. From the opening round, Bam's approach was clinical, tight punches straight down the middle, mixing body and head shots to gradually break down his opponent. Gonzalez had moments, particularly with a well-timed right hand, but he couldn't match Rodriguez's consistency or creativity. Over 12 rounds, the younger fighter steadily eroded Gonzalez's confidence, cruising to a clear decision and becoming a 2-division world champion, the youngest in the sport. With 2 belts in 2 divisions, Rodriguez called out IBF champion Sonny Edwards. The fight was set for December 16, 2023, in Arizona, and it answered lingering questions about Bam's pedigree. Edwards, an elusive defensive master, had never been off his feet. The opening rounds were competitive, with Edwards taking the first, Bam the second, and Edwards rallying in the 3rd and 4th. But the damage Rodriguez inflicted in the 2nd round began to tell. Swelling appeared around Edwards' eye, which soon split open from precise combinations. From the 5th round onward, the bout turned one-sided. Edwards found himself in an unfamiliar role, fighting merely to survive. In the later rounds, Rodriguez unleashed a straight left that sent Edwards face-first to the canvas for the first knockdown of his career. By the final 2 rounds, blood streamed from Edwards' face, and his corner mercifully stopped the fight. Edwards later revealed he had suffered a fractured orbital bone and had been seeing double for much of the contest. Rodriguez emerged as the unified WBO and IBF flyweight champion and immediately called out Juan Francisco Estrada. Estrada represented perhaps BAM's toughest challenge yet. A legend with 44 wins and only 4 losses, all of which he had avenged, Estrada was the kind of opponent who could test any young fighter's mettle. The two met in June 2024, and from the opening bell, Rodriguez used nimble footwork to disrupt Estrada's rhythm. The veteran had moments, landing to the body and finding occasional openings, but BAM consistently stole the outside foot position, giving him the angle for his straight lefts. In the 4th round, Rodriguez dropped Estrada with one such shot.